Right now, we are going to continue our conversation with three guests, and we're going to speak about the experience of the standoff of previous games. As you know, it's not the first year that we are doing the standoffs. That's why we have accumulated interesting cases, which our guys are ready to share in the online. I would like to invite Mikhail Levin, Deputy Director of the Expert Center of the Security.
Olzhas Satiev,
Olzhas, CEO of Tsark, and Andrey Dugin, Head of Cybersecurity MTS.
Andrey
Dugin is getting connected. While Andrey is getting connected, I have the first question to you. Okay, let's see. You are dealing with this many years. As a person who is related with collecting red and blue teams, you know them very well. Can you tell me how many people during all the previous games participated in the standoff? Precisely, it's very hard to say because very often people work remotely, but these are hundreds, and we can say that even more than thousands of participants in the course of last 5 years. This was the 6th event right now that we hold. That's why I can tell you that it's more than thousands of people. Yeah, it's more than 1,000 people, definitely. Even today we have 29 teams. Today we have got over all the records, and we have 29 teams, even better than during PH days. Yes, during PH days in the year 2009 we had 20 attacking teams. So the online format works much better. Online format for these type of objectives, online format allows you to assemble more people, just because we are not limited by number of tables. We're not limited by number of people that can fit into a certain facility that is being rented by us. So which allows us to extend us from this point of view and invite not only those people who can locally come to Moscow and participate during the PhD, but even those who cannot come to Moscow, or maybe they don't want to go anywhere, they can do it remotely. And of course, remotely, is it convenient? Yes, of course, it helps us to attract more people. And as I've seen, 6 different countries right now participate in our game. It's not known exactly, because many teams are multilingual and from different countries, so we didn't do such public polls, but approximations that we have, and those that we know, and those people who've been talking to us about certain data, yes, more than 6 countries are involved. That's cool. That's cool. So if today we have more than 200 experts, during the whole history we have more than 1,000 experts. Before I will ask question to Olzhas, I would like to show video where Olzhas will tell you something interesting. Will this video come into some YouTube trends?
My name is Olzhas Satiev. I'm CEO of Tsarka. It's a private computer emergency response team. We are a team of ethical hackers from Kazakhstan, and this year we will participate in Standoff. It will be our 4th time. And last 3 years we won on international hacking competition on Standoff. We took 1st place in 2017, and also we took 2nd place in other years. It's a really good opportunity for ethical hackers around the world to participate in Standoff, because this year it will be in online mode. Previous year it was in offline. What is Standoff? Standoff, it's an imitation of smart city with a lot of smart systems, and red team, they must find some vulnerabilities in this system and trying to hack this system. Our team, it's a red team. On the other hand, also some organization participated as a blue team, and they trying to defend this system. And this event, it will be between 12th and 17th of November. I think you must try to participate in this event because it's really cool. Welcome to Standoff, and see you later.
Увидимся позже, а вот мы и увиделись. Олzhas, привет.
So we have seen ourselves later. If you will need, I can speak English as well. You have wonderful English, Olzhas. Olzhas,
твоя команда
your
принимала
team
участие
have
в стендоффе
participated
не
in a
один раз. И в этот
standoff on
раз
multiple
тоже принимали
occasions,
участие,
and
да?
this time you also participate, right?
Да, мы принимаем
Yes, we participate in this event fourth time.
обновленный состав.
We have updated team.
И на самом деле с каждым годом из-за этого тяжелее участвовать. Потому что
It's hard to hold the same people from year to year, so new people are coming.
Олzhas, вот
Okay.
ты, можно сказать, ветеран
Olzhas, you are a veteran of cyber
Что
battles.
движет тобой и
What
твоей
moves you and your team? What moves you and your team to go back once and once again to these contests?
То есть мы, когда первый раз участвовали в 2017 году, мы
When
участвовали
I
просто так.
participated in 2017, we participated without any purpose. We had an agreement. Let's just participate, maybe take some place just for fun. And suddenly, for the first time when we participated, we took the first place. Next year, when we came, we had the taste of victory. We wanted to enter the finals, and every year, due to the fact that we've been taking the first and second place, it was kind of, you know, the taste of victory came back to us, and we wanted to feel it more and more again.
Как непобежденные такие, там, 35 боев, 0
This is a 35 fights, never, no knockouts. World champion.
Просто такой кураж,
Yeah, it gives a certain courage when you have this feeling of victory. You want to move on and on. Right now we have a new team, and we hope that our new guys are going to score. How many people you have in your team? Only 6 people can participate. So, I see.
Можешь остановиться на этом?
Can you talk about this a little bit deeper? Can you elaborate about it?
Сколько в команде поддерживает
It
половина
doesn't
Казахстана.
matter how many people are in the team. Half of Kazakhstan supports them. That's
Я не
true.
знаю, просто Казахстан, кажется, мы или нет.
Я не расслышал, повтори.
I didn't hear what did you
Я
say.
говорю, с Казахстаном мы в этом году единственные, наверное.
Are we the only team from Kazakhstan this year? No, we have some other guys, and you know those guys.
Все.
Okay, got you.
То есть мы проделали такой, скажем так, первой командой из Казахстана, которая участвовала.
So we were the first Kazakh team that participated. Last year we had 3-4 teams. So I think this is cool. And it makes me happy to see more people from my country. Yeah, right now we have 3-4 teams from Kazakhstan. More have applied, and in total we had a record number of applications this year. More than 100 applications, more than 100 teams have applied to participate.
Казахстанских доменов там было
And
много.
we had a lot of Kazakh domains out there. So Olzhas, at least from Kazakhstan, and he have advertised the standoff.
Миш, слушай, а вообще
Misha, can you hear me? What is the principle by which you select the teams? You said that you had 100 applications and only 29 were selected. How do you select?
Выбор достаточно сложный.
Well, the selection is very complicated from the point of view of who's going to be selected, because we don't do any qualification rounds. Of course, we look at the results of previous standoffs as well, because the first 10 or first 15 teams that were invited are those people who participated at previous standoffs and shown some good results. So we know that those guys understand what is standoff, because you should understand what it is in order to effectively participate. And the first half of all the teams, first half of this pool has been taken from the old guys and those who shown themselves previously on pen test and red teaming services. So market reputation and standoff experience, reputation that we know them, that we understand them, what they can do, what they can do, because the infrastructure is really large scale and it's different. Some people know how to break banks, other people know how to break companies and other things, and we know what these guys can do. Some people know how to break SCADA, and we want to see how they do it. Yes. And the second half of our pool, we tried to distribute in such a way so that there was a place for everybody, not only to some serious professionals, but also to students, so that young people could try this format and get some experience in it. I don't know how effective it was happening, because we've been relying on some public data about these teams. For example, they participated in some other CTFs, or we've looked at their descriptions they gave us in the initial application for participation. So guys, next time, write good bill, give us all the detailed information, and then you're going to be accepted. Okay, good. Right now we have Andrey Dugin connected to us. Andrey, hello. Hello.
Andrey,
does your team participate this year in Standoff? This year? No. You can ask Misha why. So you didn't pass the selection. No, Andrey is from the side of the blue teams, and what I've been telling you, it was about the red teams. From the side of the blue teams, they have a totally different process, absolutely different process. Andrey did participate since the first year, and he was our conscience. If Olzhas, he is a very positive guy who always, hi, let's do it, and he was doing it. Andrey is a person who made us to become better, stronger, more reliable, and change the format, and that's why you kicked him out this time. No. There was another situation which I would like to leave outside, but it's not related at all on Andrey's qualification and his team, because they are really cool guys and they have won in our standoff. However, it happened because it happened. Andrey, how many times you and your team participated? 5 times since the beginning. It's the first year we don't participate. Tell me, please, how you've been preparing yourself for the first game and following games. Was there any difference between the first and other games? What difference? Because, for example, if the first time we've been defending, every blue team have been defending an office with small infrastructural elements of that particular business that was represented there. So we had to defend telecom operator, but I've looked at the network and said, what is this? Only 2 offices and some VPN gate, and that's it. And what about operator? And okay, let's make a special room, and that's it. So it was, the first one was a test. I didn't have a lot of scale, but then number 2, number 3, number 4, I've looked at the second one. Well, the first network, it started looking like operator network, like provider network, and then Internet of Things, it was in the next one. And it was interesting to defend it, and of course, when all these offices and networks were protected, every time we've been using Standoff to experiment with the means of defense. In other words, there are means of protection which can be tested on a test in the company, but outside of the Standoff it's not really applicable. But realistically, if you would do something wrong, you will get penalties, you have to roll back. If you will do something and it will be good, understanding that, well, those things can be used also for practical utilization. This is a good field for experiments, non-standard methods of defense. And from telecom infrastructure, what is available right now during this time? Nothing. We have no telecom. We have removed this part because remotely we cannot fully realize GSM and some other mobile networks, and a lot of other vectors were falling away. This is a limitation of the online format which we cannot overcome. But we have 12 other industries.
Андрей
Andrey is a person who went to whole standoff evolution. It's not a secret that every year we've been changing the format from year to year, and that whatever defenders have to do, because with the attackers everything's clear, they have to attack it. It's not a problem, but with the defender it's always different. What defenders should do, how they should be measured, should they be compared or not compared to each other, what they can do, what they cannot do, what is their interest in general. And every year it was an experiment, and Andrey was very good in those experiments. He was experimenting on us, and we've been experimenting on. What about the defenders right now? Right now we came to the fact that defenders will never be compared to each other because they work in different conditions, they use different approaches, they have different infrastructures, and they cannot be compared. Everything that we do right now, we take some main KPIs and how they react to incidents, how quickly they detect them, and this can be an indicator or KPI. Therefore, the competition is mostly for hackers, and security and blue team guys, they are even prohibited to block hackers' actions so that they can see how the attack is developing, because if you stop the attack at the early stage, the web break, so what? You will get no experience from it, but when you will see how he goes through all these chains from the beginning to the end, and then he will break the turbine in the end, and for this you have to go to the standoff. Okay guys, I have a question to you, both red team and blue team. Which principle you use to select people into your teams in order to go to the standoff? Andrey, can you begin? I choose people on the following principle. I should have specialists on those technologies that we are defending. The networking specialist, let's say Windows specialist, Unix specialist, database specialist. So the main basic technologies should be involved. I should have a specialist in monitoring of all of this, not just defending, but also monitoring. People who know what information should be collected and analyzed in order to be able to detect what happens, so that software together with the defenders, we wouldn't just react but also reflect those attacks, because we have the defense team and the SOC team. I don't know about right now, but this year, but previously, we had defense teams, SOC teams. SOC is the eyes and ears who see and hear and determine what really happens in the network, and defenders liquidate it. They do some preventive actions. So therefore, the spectrum of specialists had to be in this multifaceted approach to detect and to reflect.
Olzhas, к тебе такой же вопрос. По какому принципу?
Olzhas, I have a question to you. How do you select people into your team? Speaking about our red team, we have guys who are specifically involved in attacks, different vectors of attacks during even previous standoffs. It's not enough to break into system. You have to stand in the system, stay in it. It sounds like it's very easy to get hold of the system. For example, during the previous standoff, we had a fight with a blue team who gets stand on a server. So it's not just the ability to break in, but also the ability to keep in, to stay in. And also services, for example, you break one service, but then it's going to be fixed. You have to find another service to break in. So it's not enough just to have guys who break some specific tool. You need to have diverse specialists. Well, I have a question from the chat, and to you two, to red and blue team. Which possibilities are given to you by the standoff, both for the defenders and for the hackers, and what do you get from it? Let me begin. It's a good PR, first of all. To us, it was a great PR. That's number one. Number two, we have participated in offline events. and our team was traveling. More than half of our guys came to Moscow and have been doing these objectives in the course of these 2 days. It was a good team building, teamwork, because the time in the standoff teaches you to play as a team. People have understanding of how to work with the team, they share information, and we were able to see how can we join our forces. So I think that this is a very cool side of this exercise. So team play and PR. Yes. Okay, Andrey, for the blue team, what it gives the blue team? Well, to the blue team, it's a field of for experiments which you can conduct around the defense. Right now, DPRs, well, we have used this possibility not as much as we could use it. However, in the part of the team building, I agree with Olzhas. It brings you together, unites you. When in the course of 2 days, you're sitting together and do something. Some people do something, for example, you can sleep, but then you replace places. Well, interesting way of cooperation. So I agree with Olzhas. Team building, very good. Also, during PH days, we had an experience of hack and drink. Do you remember? Too drunk to hug. Yeah, too drunk to hug. They drink and they, at the same time, they hug something. Yeah, we have it every year. How does it work? Well, it's outside of the standoff, but yes, that's how it works. You break and drink, hug and drink, hug and drink. Too drunk to hug. Can you tell us, please, which were interesting, funny situations, maybe unexpected cases that you have seen during the history? Well, every year something was happening, honestly. And since the beginning, we can remember when, if somebody had forgot, I don't know, maybe Andrey remembers very well when we had the first standoff and during the first day. The infrastructure didn't want to work, and it was our first time, and we've been trying to fix it the first day, but the second day, when defenders got bored, they broke one of the hackers' team with their tools, and they have lost something or whatever. It was also working in the reverse. So defenders broke into hackers' computers. Yes. Because during the standoff, nobody is protected from anybody. There were cases when Olzhas have mentioned that he has not only attackers who can break, but also people who know how to defend. At the recent PH days, it was useful for them when they've been fighting for one of the facilities, and one team was winning, then another was winning, and they've been coming, closing some services, providing patches so that other hackers would not be able to enter. This time we do not support things like that. Don't patch, break. Everybody should have a possibility to play. The fair play should be available. There were cases when attackers were bringing the hardware which helped them to enter the defender's channel and sniff their traffic, and during the night they tried to enter and sniff, but they were caught. The server was removed from them. And there was a case also during the PH days when some defender or hacker have introduced themselves as a journalist. Was it you? It wasn't him, but it was somebody from his team. How was it? We had a guy. He took a journalist badge and he was taking interview from everybody. But during the last day, he was following the screens through special glasses. We had a lot of funny cases. What else was interesting in your memory? 3 years ago, when we participated for the first time, when we broke the bank account,
Что знала, я не расслышал.
I didn't
Они
hear.
взломали банковские
They
аккаунты других
broke the
красных команд
bank
и
accounts of
увели у них
other red
деньги.
teams and they stole their
Но
money.
это было не по правилам,
It was
поэтому
against rules,
нет.
so
Но они это
no.
сделали, да.
But they did it. They
На
did it.
самом деле, Olzhas, раскрой тайну.
Olzhas,
В этом даже
disclose the
сейчас,
secret.
да, сегодня,
Even right now, even
у нас есть
today,
в инфраструктуре
in
банк,
our infrastructure we have the bank,
и вендор, который нам
and the
сделал это
vendor
DBO,
which have
оставил
made this
в нем в
DBO
интерфейсе реальный
have
номер
left a
телефона,
real phone
на который
number
кто-то с утра позвонил
to which
и
somebody have
потребовал
called
все
and
пароли,
requested
потому
to
что
give all the
Михаил Левин ему
passwords because
разрешил.
Mikhail Levin has permitted him to do that.
Тоже не вы? Не вы?
It wasn't you?
Поколение
No.
новое.
New generation. Social
Изобретательные
hacking.
ребята.
Inventive guys.
Андрей, а ты что можешь
Andrey,
вспомнить
what
такого
else do
необычного,
you
что за предыдущие
remember
5 игр?
during previous
игры
5
случалось?
games or 4 games?
Из самого необычного, что
Out of the
можно
unusual
вспомнить,
things,
кроме
what I
вот
can
таких вот, конечно,
remember,
товарищей,
except
которые
for
там ходили,
things
кем-то
like
прикидывались.
pretending to be
Я,
somebody.
прям до сих
Guys,
пор помнится
until
мне,
right
я
now
не
I
понимаю,
remember
насколько
and
правильно
I
я
don't
поступил.
understand how properly I
Одно
behaved
из,
during one
противостояний
of
нам в
the
инфраструктуре, кроме
standoffs
всего прочего,
in the
дали
infrastructure.
интернет-вещей, сегмент
We had a
интернет-вещей,
segment of
который мы должны были
IoT
защищать.
that we had to defend. Of course, we had a flat network. We have reassembled this network so that it would be protected, so that Internet of Things that was the helpless, absolutely helpless thing out of everything, out of the internet world, and so it wouldn't be broken. So we have applied all the measures, and they couldn't break it. And organizers came to us and they say, why nobody can get to the Internet of Things? Maybe it's the idea. It shouldn't be like that. Stop, guys. The Internet works. But no. So I assume that possibly some great strategic idea of that standoff was to show the world that there is Internet of Things which can be broken. People, be careful, people protected. And I feel my conscience is telling me that I wasn't giving the possibility. It was PhD's number 7, and there was an emphasis on the Internet of Things as a potential risk factor that not many people understand, which brings this uncertainty, some danger into the infrastructure, not only infrastructure, but also to your home. When your teapot will start doing something, and Andrey was able to defend it, and it's not the idea, Andrey. Simultaneously with Internet of Things, we have started our cryptocurrency back then, which had to be mined at the broken host, and Internet of Things was one of the objectives for this miner, because there was a lot of them, and you could earn a lot of money. It was the year 2017, the main hype. How can? I'm sorry, Misha, I'm sorry. That's all right, that's all right. And there was a case when somebody cut the wires. Not cut wires, but they've changed the ports, switched places, and people thought that there was a technical error, but it was figured out when our admin came and reconnected the wires in front of their eyes. It was not really nice for the guys. Who did it? We still don't know. You really don't know? And you could not restore it by cameras? No. The flag of one of the teams was improperly located. Improperly or specifically improperly? To this case, we have not provided, perhaps in video surveillance, it was not ours, and we could not provide case like that. Olzhas, for you, which contest was the most difficult for you and why? Well, the most difficult was the second contest because it was the first time we participated without any ideas, and during the next one, we already had prepared ourselves. We had to keep the mark, so it was difficult. We had to apply all our efforts. And that year, you have lost at the last minute, if I remember, right, Olzhas? Yeah, it was sad. In the last 30 minutes, we have lost. We, as organizers, we like to bring some action, because periodically we have some unpredictable scenarios, and honestly, those people who participated with us since the beginning, they understand it perfectly, and they know that 30 minutes before the end, anything might can happen in which scenarios? Well, back in that year, the banking service, we had anti-fraud system which stopped all hacker transactions. Payments were going to the city, but hackers cannot move money out. It was muffled. And 1 hour before the end of the game, we have asked the vendor of this solution to disconnect it. And the one who was the first one, he did it. There were guys from hacker team. Very quickly they were able to script team, and of course, coin by coin they have removed the money, and you could even see during the ceremony, during the award ceremony. But when I've been announcing the closing, it was ticking, 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 ticking. So according to the scenario, it happens there is a city, it leaves, the hackers attacking, defenders are defending. But there are some unpredictable forces represented by organizers who come and do something, like in real world. Well, as a back step, when God saves the main hero or some magic entity, because the author could not invent anything else. But nevertheless, yes, we have some unexpected moves when we understand that we should give some action and we must help or show some problem that for example, like it was the last time when we have opened a number of accounts from the infrastructures of the city, like it happens. It was a leak. Workers registered from the corporate mail at some strange internet sites. They've been broken, and here's the leak. So, naturally speaking, everybody who was able to react from red teams, they started trying to get connected by VPNs, by remote access, and most of the teams immediately have thought that something wrong, because under one account from different sources, they started breaking in, and one of the teams was not able to react, and as a result, in 17 minutes, they went all the way to the domain controller and compromised the company completely. This year, we are not going to have surprises. Well, I'm not going to tell you about those surprises, but we will have well-prepared scenario step. 2 companies in the first 3 days will work at a full scale. They will seriously defend themselves, and then they will move their defense into monitoring, and they will see how the attack will happen, and they will see how it can be investigated and how they can react to it. Good, guys. I have the final question to you. Give me the answer. What would you recommend to the novices, newbies, to enter the standoff and to win at the standoff? Because we have material and significant prize for the team that will get the first, second, and the third place. So you have things to fight for. Olzhas, let's begin with you. First of all, I think it's more getting practical experience because participants and those who participated in CTFs really, you can find some forgotten service into which you penetrate and get experience of working, and those things that we see on a daily basis. So I think that in order to participate in standoff and understand how it all happens, you need experience not only in web, but also additional experience in other fields. Andrey? Of course, there's a factor of 2020 which gave us a new ways of getting into standoff, into the defenders team. And he said, I'm not going to talk about it. Unpredictable reality. Yeah, it was really unpredictable, even though forecastable.
То есть о том факторе говорить не буду.
I'm not going to
Представьте себе,
speak
что
about
всё
this factor,
было
but
как
let's
раньше,
imagine that
да.
everything would be like before.
Для того, чтобы, ну, по сути,
Давай
понимать,
еще на
что,
него нальем сверху чего-нибудь.
Let's pour something on his
На самом
head.
деле, Андрюх, извиняюсь,
Nothing.
перебью чуть-чуть.
Sorry for talking. We are trying to do so that everybody would be able to participate at a certain moment of time. Right now, blue teams are very limited by the number because our infrastructure is not a rubber one. We are limited with resources, etc. So
В следующие разы их будет всё
next
больше,
times
больше,
we'll have
больше.
more and
Наш
more and
город
more of
будет
those because our
возрастать, и
city is
нужно
going to
будет всё
grow
больше и больше
and we will need more and more
защитников. И там найдется
defenders
место
for it
каждому.
and there will be place for
в
everybody.
общем, если посмотреть просто, ну,
So
как бы
if
не
you
о том,
will
как прям
look
попасть в
not
этот
about
шоу-бизнес,
how
как
to
говорится,
enter this show business,
именно о том,
but
что
about
нужно делать
what should
для
be
того,
done
чтобы, ну,
to,
предположим, даже если вы попали,
let's
мало
assume
попасть,
if
нужно
you
еще
have been
достойно
enrolled, but
защищаться.
after enrolling
Потому
you
что,
have
как
to
бы, если
defend
попасть, а при
properly,
этом не
because
знаешь,
if
что
you
делать,
be
ну,
enrolled
наверное,
but you don't know
будешь
what to
чувствовать
do,
себя вот
you
эти
will
двое
feel
суток прям как
yourself
будто,
in the course of these 2
там,
days
ребенок,
like a
который
kid
начал играться во взрослые игры.
who entered
Поэтому
the
что
nuclear
нужно
power
для
plant.
того, чтобы
So what is needed
себя
to
нормально,
feel
уверенно
yourself
ощущать?
normally and
Это
confidently?
специалисты по
First of all,
направлениям,
you
которые,
need
собственно, умеют
specialists in
защищать.
different
Если у
directions
вас
who
там даже
know how to
есть в
defend.
команде
Even though if in your
специалист по
team you
пентесту,
have
который
pen
сможет
testing
проверить
specialist
дополнительно,
who is
что вы
able
там
to
всё-таки,
additionally check
позащищали, и
what
опять
has been
действительно
defended
станет
and
ещё сильнее
find
позащищать. Это
some
вообще
gaps and to
отлично.
defend even better. That's wonderful.
Самое
But
главное, что
the most
это должен
important
быть,
thing is
собственно,
that
такой некий
it has
практический
to be
интерес,
some practical
практический интерес
interest,
к отражению
practical
большого
interest to
количества
the
атак,
reflection
которые
of big
происходят
number
в
of
единицу
attacks
времени.
which are
Потому что
happening
если
in a unit
посмотреть
of time. Because
плотность
if you will look at the
тех атак,
density
которые
of
проходят
those
во время
attacks which are
противостояния,
happening during the
то,
standoff,
наверное, вот эти
well,
вот двое
then
суток,
perhaps in the course of these
которые
2
мы там
days
сидим по
that we're
количеству,
sitting there
там,
by the
возможных
number of
противоестественных действий,
unnatural
но это может
activities,
и не
well,
дадут растянуть в нормальной
you
жизни
can
компании.
extend 1
Поэтому,
year of a normal company into several
нужна
days.
экспертиза,
Therefore, you need expertise. You need to have readiness to stand off and defend. And of course, you need to be ready for unpredictable situations, which Misha is going to give you.
Всё ради вас.
Everything for you.
Миш, ты что посоветуешь?
Misha, what advice are you going to give? As organizer, I can say that if you want to enter the standoff, doesn't matter who are you, defender, professional, non-professional, attacker. I always have a place in my heart for those people who can joke, who can be funny, and sometimes they send such descriptions, such funny bios. I'm sitting and crying from fun. And of course, I have no right of not taking guys like this because they are fun. I always find a place like that, so everybody has a chance. And can one combine a team, especially when you have 1 or 2 guys who can assemble their own team and they just don't have enough of? Well, this time we have started saying like we are helping in the selection of the team. This year we didn't have team like that, but nevertheless, last year one of the defense teams was assembled like that to our Telegram chat. Yes, and on our Standoff 365 chat site, you can easily apply that and say that I need a team, and when next events are going to happen, we are going to try to bring you together with some other guys who need the team. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you very much. The previous standoffs together with Mikhail Levin, Olzhas, Satiev,
Спасибо, счастливо.
and Andrey Dugin. Thank you very much and goodbye.